All right, everybody, welcome back. This is the dumbest I've seen The View be in a very long time now. I was a little bit worried that, I was worried because I do farm their content. Lately, they've, after the election, they haven't been too crazy. Well, they came back full force yesterday, and we're going to mock them for it.
The nationwide mass deportation live show that we've been seeing on every network has even featured some guest stars like Dr. Phil.
I don't think there's mass deportations. There's millions of illegals here, and she just gave us one example. Dr. Phil, come on, get real.
Unreal.
But one celebrity who isn't being welcomed into the conversation is Selena Gomez. Now, she took down an emotional post talking about the impact of these raids on her people after backlash.
Her people? I thought she was an American. I don't know what the hell that's about.
Here's what
Deporter.
border czar Tom Holman and conservative media had to say.
I would check your compassionate privilege.
Yeah.
Because
the hell is
they
that?
never said anything about Laken Riley.
No. Singer and actress Selena Gomez filmed herself weeping today. She was in a, let's call it a performative fit of hysteria because Donald Trump is deporting violent criminal illegal immigrants.
They're deporting her drug dealers. Check her compassionate privilege, Hannity. She can't just make her own meth.
We got 500,000 children who are sex trafficked into this country, separated from their families, put in the hands of criminal cartels.
There he is.
To be
Oh, there you are, Peter.
smuggled in the country. This administration can't find over 300,000. Where's the tears for them?
So Selena responded by posting, apparently it's not okay to show empathy for people. So,
because
I
it's
guess
fake.
I'm supposed to ask you if you think the country has a problem finding empathy, but I wonder if you really want to, make an impact, why aren't they sending folks back who are in jail already? Why aren't we seeing those mass deportations of people who have been found guilty of a crime?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, good idea.
Why aren't we sending them back
He'd have to send the January 6th people back too then, because...
I'm retarded. That's what we did. We did send him home.
Why is Dr. Phil there? What is
Because
Dr.
it is
Phil
now a
doing
reality show. This is the new reality show. And I'm hoping that we can put music behind this because it's only going to be a matter of weeks before we start to see, just folks showing up.
Well, the only thing that could fix so much of the division in this country is empathy, is compassion. And there's no privilege to that. Giving it to anyone, compassion, empathy, watching Selena Gomez, what people don't understand is two things can be true at once. All of these conservative media pundits answered with, what about the violent criminals? Selena Gomez can feel compassion for people being deported. She has a very personal connection to that. Her grandmother came in the back of a truck across the border, and her father was then born in the country. She's born in the country. She belongs here.
Okay.
But that is natural to then say, God, it's heartbreaking to watch this. It can be heartbreaking, and she can still not be okay with violent criminals. And they keep saying in there, we're taking the violent criminals. Well, the point I made here at the table is they're not transparent about who they're bringing. They're knocking on doors, they're rounding up people, and they're not saying, if they broke down every person deported and said, we've got 16 murderers, 15 rapists, 13 repeat offenders, everyone in this country, including Selena Gomez, would say bravo. But that's not what's happening, and they're not being open about it. So never condemn someone for showing empathy.
If they don't know, then why are they freaking out? They already said they were going to focus on the violent criminals first. Pay attention.
Look, sister, is any of this filtering through that little blue bonnet of yours?
For another person.
That's right.
She doesn't have to address Laken Riley, which is an awful, tragic story that happened here in this country.
She doesn't care.
She can... it's not saying that she agrees with that to say she understands the plight of all of these people. So it's just a disgusting place we're at when we can't even recognize that.
1,200 deportations a day, but half of them have no criminal record.
Yes.
And wait a second,
Yeah, they do.
the price of eggs is up, I'm just saying.
I don't ever want to hear you talk about eggs again.
Most Americans agree. They disagree on the solutions. I think we need to secure the border. We need to streamline the process so you can come here legally, and it's easier to do that. I think immigrants make our country better. But I agree that...
Is it easy to do?
No, we need to fix the system to make it much easier. It can take years to become a citizen. It's a very onerous process.
What is this honor? Am I crazy? I thought it was onerous. The press secretary was saying onerous too. What is this? Comment, am I crazy? Isn't it onerous?
But empathy can be a two-way street because, agreed, of course, Selena Gomez's lived experience, she is going to feel something when she sees families potentially being separated. And on the other side, with Lake and Riley, I think the issue here is people are like, well, why aren't you mad when an American kills another American? Of course we are. Of course we're outraged, it's evil and it's wrong. What makes this so heartbreaking for people is it was avoidable. The system failed Lake and Riley. That person should not have been here in the first place. They should have been deported because they are one of these violent offenders. And so a young woman, a young UGA student is not alive today because the system failed.
They should have been deported because they were here illegally, regardless if they killed somebody. What do you not get? If you set a standard of you can come here and stay here and we won't deport you, you can come here illegally, you will have the entire world come in here. Like, you do not understand how messaging works? You are advertising to the world that your party would like to make it okay for people to come here illegally and stay here as long as they want and never have to come here legally. That is what you're advertising right now.
Failed her. So be mad at both at once. That's something that's perfectly reasonable. But what I'm frustrated about with this conversation is anytime we talk about border security in America and immigration, we act like it's uniquely American, racist, and xenophobic. Every nation on earth deals with this issue. This is how every country deals with it. Canada and the US have the largest unguarded borders in the world. So we need to also be realistic. How do we talk about issues everyone faces, do it in a humane way, make the border secure, but also people who want to be here for the right reasons can get here?
It's not possible because cruelty is the point with him. That
cruelty
seems
is the
to be
point.
what he's into. Like, let's show that.
It doesn't matter. If he's doing what needs to get done, then that needs to get done. Who cares if he does it with a smile on his face?
It's happening. And when you keep showing pictures of immigrants being pushed out and maybe even pulled away from their children, the American people will have to look into themselves.
Did you catch that? This is the propaganda that we talked about a month ago, that they would kind of, this is the gross, sick, manipulative language that we knew they were going to use. Check it.
Well,
that
cruelty
seems
is the
to be
point.
what he's into. Like, let's show this happening. And when you keep showing pictures of immigrants being pushed out and maybe even pulled away from their children, the American
maybe even. God, it's so gross.
Won't somebody please think of the children?
people will have to look into themselves.
But 87% support deporting criminal undocumented migrants.
Yes, I don't know anybody in the world. I don't know anybody in the world who wants to keep the criminals. I don't know anybody.
That's where we should be focused.
We keep on talking about criminals and immigrants being criminals.
We got a criminal expert here. She lives with one.
And I just want people to understand what the facts are and the stats are, is that undocumented immigrants are
all criminals.
Much less likely to have committed crimes than American citizens. American citizens commit more crimes than anyone who is undocumented.
Every single one of them is committing a crime by being here. Ew.
I also want to make the point that an undocumented immigrant is not a criminal because he or she is undocumented. That is a civil offense. So to call people illegal,
which is a crime,
is in and of itself, I think, xenophobic and racist.
And
I do. And incorrect. The other thing that
How is that racist? Do you know the majority of Hispanic men voted for Trump? How is that racist if they want other Hispanics to come here legally?
What I will say is that, to Joy's point, on Sunday, there were 1,179 people arrested. Only 613 of them were considered criminal arrests. That means that the rest appear to be either nonviolent offenders or have not committed any criminal offense at all.
Yes, they
and
have.
so what we are doing, again, is we have decided as a country to demonize a certain type of immigrant, a certain looking type of immigrant. And those immigrants are either from Central America or Mexico. They are brown.
No, that's where the majority of them come from.
It blows my mind that somebody like this not only exists, but also is delusional enough to post it online.
To your first question, Whoopi, I think this country is a country that lacks empathy unless you have lived it, unless you have a lived experience, and that is very unfortunate.
Go live in South America. I would love for you to live in South America. Go live in any country in Africa. Go ahead. I mean, you are so full of shit if you think that this country doesn't have empathy. You are just the dumbest of dumb, for real.
You are really dumb, for real.
We're literally called the melting pot of the world, and you're trying to say that we don't have empathy. Are you nuts? Are you insane? You think China is empathetic? You think North Korea gives a shit about you?
So on the issue, it is true that statistically migrants in this country are less likely to commit crimes, but you can't, it's the same thing that Democrats did in the election where they're like, crime's actually down. When people know of this woman who was literally set on fire on a New York subway, they don't care what the stats say. She was murdered over the holidays by someone who never should have been in the country.
Care about the
Secondly,
stats
on visa
and the facts.
real quickly on visa overstays. When you come here on a visa, the U.S. government knows where you came from, what your name is, your place of origin. Yes, there are some who shouldn't be in the country anymore. That doesn't have the same national security risk of people we have no idea their home origin, where they came from, why they're
And
here,
now
where
I'm
they're
stopping
staying.
you because I gotta go.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video. If you haven't checked out the channel yet, there are some recent uploads. This one's pretty good. Tim Pool talks about what's wrong with Walmart. I'll put a link to that one. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.